I'm Aaron Martinez, and this is the Awaken to Source podcast with Aaron and Joseph. Do you want to make a direct connection with Source and inner guidance? Do you want to master your energy and create more of what you want? Joseph will show you how to do just that in the following recording. And if you want to learn how to make the total shift, visit us at aaronandjoseph.com.
So it's a lot to think your way through, which is why we don't advise you to think your way through it. But to
Yeah.
sort of give you the zoomed out view of this, your perception is driving your emotion, and you can have an awareness of both. And when you
Oh,
step back into the place of awareness, then you're aware of your emotions, you're aware of the thoughts, the beliefs, and ideas that are generating the emotion, and you can allow it to find its gentle resolution. And as you're moving through life, it is not then having the thoughts or the beliefs come up and then you're identifying with them and then how do I change this belief and so on and so forth. But instead, you're recognizing reactions, you're recognizing patterns, and you're not trying to affect change again by applying sort of physical laws, by going into the inner world and changing the thought and whatever. But it is that awareness of that overall process brings you back into your center. And if we're talking about it in energetic terms, you're no longer offering that vibration or that energy of that perception. Instead, you're offering the energy of your eternal self. You could call it the awareness. People call it the I am. Whatever you call it, you're in that state of being, and you're holding that as the center. And then the other perceptions that you can have the awareness that you are perceiving come into resolution. If you're in the thought and you're trying to think your way out of the thought, you're only activating the thought more and more and more, and becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and the emotion becomes stronger and stronger and stronger, which is what many people do, and they are quite confused when they're not able to shift their energy. But when you step back into that eternal self and relax into that state of being, that's the attractive point. Then you have this belief and you can perceive it sort of out there. This sort of belief, the belief used to be right here. It used to be driving the narrative going on. But you step back and the belief is sort of out there. You recognize it for what it is. The belief is just a collection of thought, and it's pulsing energy. It's pulsing what you then feel as emotion. It's pulsing all of this. But you recognize it as sort of its own entity, if you would, its own self-contained reality, indeed. And when you have that recognition, then the belief starts to soften, the emotion becomes less intense, and then you feel yourself sort of stepping off that ledge. The thoughts become softer, and then what used to be a collection of thought sort of out there relaxes, resolves, and then it flows to you, and then you have the inspiration. And that's where the resolution comes from. That's where the new idea comes from. That's where the solution, that's where the next step is revealed to you. So to give you the broader picture, there is a field, if you would, and the field is filled with unending possibility, which you would call thought. From those thoughts, you start to gather thought forms, which then gather in intensity. And when they reach a gathering of intensity, there is the physical realization. And so if you look out into the night sky, you can see that sort of physically reflected back to you. All of the possibilities condensing into physical forms. And so from that field, you will draw to you that which you are. And so that is why we want you to make it your priority to connect back to that inner energy, because then from all of the possible thoughts, all of the possibilities of belief and intent and all that, you'll draw to you that which complements your state of being, which means you'll have a little thought And then it'll get a little bit bigger, and then it'll get a little bit bigger, and then it'll start to attract all of the other thoughts that are like it. And then it'll get stronger and more clear, and you'll start to have inspirations. And you'll start out with a vague visualization, in the sense that in the sort of in space, you have the vague nebula that then condenses and condenses and condenses and condenses until there is combustion and form, indeed.
Yeah.
And that is the same process that happens within the inner mind, within the inner world. So you just choose the state of being. It continues to focus and coalesce and gain more stability. And you experience that process again through what starts out like a vague feeling, becomes a little bit more present, becomes a little bit more defined within the inner mind, which gains more clarity. And really what we want you to pay attention to throughout that process is the emotional state, because your emotions will continue to intensify as this thought pattern gains momentum. Whatever state of being you choose is going to perpetuate itself into your physical experience. But if you are able to step back and recognize there is a choice, we want your criteria for that choice to be, is it my inner energy? Is it my eternal knowing? And you feel that when it clicks into place, and you feel it when it clicks out of place. Now, there are all sorts of reasons, justifications as to why you would choose a different energy. Oh, I know that I'm right. I know that they're wrong, and I know that they don't know that they're wrong. We say, how does that feel?
So in our current global situation, I'm wondering about, today is Earth Day, and I was wondering about the planet itself. And as an organism, as a energetic organism, as an energetic body, is it also attracting to itself, but through properties that are more like physics oriented, or does it also attract emotionally?
So the planet itself does not attract emotionally in that sense, but your perception of those rhythms, of the energies within nature, you experience emotionally. But yes, at a fundamental level, there is all of that energy that is moving and ebbing and flowing and requesting and receiving and shifting and changing. And you're part of that. You're an extension. In other words, that inner energy flows through the consciousness of the earth. It flows through and up into that which you are. And it continues that expression and that exploration and that creation through that which you are. But again, you have the option to give your attention into all sorts of different ways, into all sorts of different, and you're all very creative in that sense, but you can have all of the above. You can be physical, conscious, creative, moving forward, expansive, interested, and also have harmony and balance with the planet from which you come. Your inner center that we keep telling you to find is the same energy that is present within all things. So there's nothing that's excluded with that. And you'll know that. You'll know it experientially when you continue, and have known it, when you continue to practice this connection, but then you go out into nature and you feel the wind, and you have that awareness of the physical world around you, and feel yourself to be sort of in that flow as well, because you are.
So the pause that we're globally doing here, a lot of people are saying, well, the air feels cleaner, the sky is bluer, the water's cleaner, Venice apparently doesn't smell, things like that. So it's having this kind of repercussion with the planet, or the planet's having a, influence on, I'm not sure which way it goes, but that energy it seems to also be reflecting through the earth, feeling and this is a judgment maybe, but feeling cleaner, feeling less polluted, feeling more harmonious. Is that
It is.
okay? Okay. So it's our kind of energy.